adjourned the suit for adoption of final written addresses. But before the state adoption of final written addresses, the 11 defendants to counterclaim filed an application for extension of time within which to defend the defendant's counterclaim. Pursuant and order of this Honorable Court, leave was granted to the 11 defendants to file his defense, and which he did file on the 28th of September 2021. The 11 defendants to counterclaim cross-examined the defendant's witnesses and called 3 witnesses, including the 11 defendants to counterclaim, without cross-examining the witnesses of the 8th defendant to counterclaim, and closed his case. Consequent upon the defense of the 11 defendants to counterclaim, the defendant filed a reply to the statement of defense and called 2 additional witnesses in response to the issues thrown up by the 11th defendant to counterclaim's statement of defense. The witnesses were duly cross-examined by the 11th defendant to counterclaim after the defense of the 11th defendant to counterclaim. The court again visited the local court to verify the claim of the parties already in evidence, and the matter was adjourned for parties to file their respective final written addresses again for adoption of same. The plaintiff on 29th of January 2018, in proof of his case, called a lone witness who testified as PW1 and thereafter abandoned his case, leading to the plaintiff's suit being struck out on the 11th of September 2019. And since then, there was no application to release the case, and the plaintiff never appeared in the court while the case lasted. The summary of the case of the plaintiff was that his late father bought a land measuring 1.81 hectares in 2005 from one Danjuma A. Mamman and left it under his care, and one Sule Yamu. That after his father died in 2010, the defendant trespassed upon the land, and by fencing it, it is worthy to state here that no document of purchase was tendered to substantiate the claims of the plaintiff, and there was no one from the family of Danjuma A. Mamman that testified to the original ownership of the land claimed by the plaintiff, even though their witnesses' statements on oath were filed. The summary of the case of the defendant counterclaimer, as pleaded and laid in evidence, was that sometimes in the year 2000, one Diko T. Busa, whose family had a large expanse of land, or farmland at Anakomi, Kugwaru Road, Karoloka government area of Nasarawa State, told him of his intention to sell part of his farmland, that after the deliberations and negotiations, a portion of the farmland was excised for him, and the value was agreed at 360,000 naira only, whereof he paid in two installments of 60,000 naira and 300,000 naira on the 4th of February 2000 and 3rd March 2000 respectively, and that 2 separate land sale agreements were executed in his favor to that effect. According to the counterclaimant, that the land was not measured with tapes at the time of purchase, that he took active possession of the land by farming thereon, and he farmed crops like yam, cassava, maize, groundnut, etc. So the evidence of the counterclaimant that 3 years after he took possession of the land described herein above without let or hindrance from anyone, including the plaintiff and defendants to counterclaim, and after the death of Busati Diko, he was approached by the sons of Busati Diko, namely Yamusa and Alayayi Busa, to purchase their farmland as he purchased for their deceased father. Then he, knowing fully well that the entire farmland belonged to the Busa family, having farmed a portion of their larger farmland, the earlier purchase, was convinced of the genuineness of the land and thus agreed to purchase it. And on the 14th of February 2003 and on the 24th of February 2003, he bought 2 separate farmlands at the rate of 180,000 naira only from Yamusa and Alayayi Busa, and that 2 separate sales agreements were executed in his favor, and that he took possession of the farmland and extended his farming activities to the 2 new farmlands. He subsequently bought without let or hindrance from anyone, including the plaintiff and the defendants, to counterclaim. According to the counterclaimant, that in 2004, he engaged the services of Mr. John Akwanga to survey the 4 different farmlands he bought from the Busa family, which said farmland were fragments of a larger expanse of farmland belonging to the family. The 4 farmlands, after the survey, measured about 9.8 hectares, that is about 98 plots of land. That 98 plots was not a flat land, it was highly bumpy, with hills and low rocks. It was not fit for a building layout for which he intended to put it. Thus, he engaged the services of Earth Movers Services Limited, to grade the land, which was done on the 15th day of August 2005. The grading of the land attracted a lot of natives who came to watch as the heavy-duty truck moved about excavating low rocks and hills, including the Busa family and their surrounding neighbors. That this was done without let or hindrance from anyone, including the plaintiff and the defendants, to counterclaim. The counterclaimant also stated that after the land was graded, he planted malina trees round the land as a way of securing it from trespassers. But a few of the trees are still visible on the land till date, while several of them were hacked down by the plaintiff. Defendants will counterclaim and order unknown persons in furtherance of the acts of trespass. According to the counterclaimant, that shortly after he bought the last set of farmland from the Busa family in 2003, Amadou Adwa of Nyanya Gwandara, whose family land bound the Busa family, contacted him through Alayayi Busa to purchase a portion of their family land, which is directly next on the western boundary of the Busa family. That he agreed and purchased the farmland at the rate of 500,000 naira only on the 16th of July 2003. A land sale agreement was consequently executed in his favor, and that he promptly took possession of the land alongside the plots he bought from the Busa family without let or hindrance from anyone, including the plaintiff. Their purported predecessors entitled, as well as the defendants, to counterclaim that he also engaged the services of Mr. John Akwanga, who surveyed the land in 2004, and the land measured 3.2 hectares, and also graded the land he bought from the Arua family with the one measuring 9.8 hectares. He bought from the Busa family and exercised the same acts of possession thereon without let or hindrance. The total land he bought from the Busa family of New Nyanya and Arua family of Nyanya Gwandara is 9.8 hectares and 3.2 hectares respectively. And he has been in possession of the land for upward of 15 years. Now the land measuring 9.8 hectares, which he bought from Dikoti Busa, Yamusa Busa, and Alayi Busa, was the ancestral land of the Busa family, which devolved from their great-grandfather, Nyaholo, to them after a period spanning about 200 years. That the land was a virgin forest uninhabited by any mortal when it was deforested by a great farmer known as Nyaholo over 200 years ago. According to the counterclaimant, that Nyaholo settled on the land, built settlement thereon, where he stayed with his servants and farm on the land. That the remains of the state settlement was pulled down when he graded the land, and that he planted 3 crops like locust beans, mangoes, mahogany, etc. Traces of some of which can still be found on the land, and several others have been hewed down over the years. That he also farmed crops like yam, maize, millet, granite, and beans, etc. That he begat his son, Waziri Nyaholo, who farmed with him on the land for several years. Waziri inherited him from his death, after his death, as his only surviving child at the time of his demise. That Waziri continued the family farming tradition on the land with his father's servants and some other people he attracted to himself. According to the counterclaimant, that Waziri also farmed on the land for several decades, and he was inherited by his 3 children, namely Tazoga Busa, Gadak Buddha, and Shagboyenye Busa. Shagboyenye was the only female among them. That Tazango and his siblings farmed on the land after they inherited their father without let or hindrance in continuation of their ancestral ownership of the land. And they inherited their father. Their sons also inherited them till 1999, when they started selling the farmland in fragments till they sold various portions to the counterclaimant between 2000 and 2003. According to the counterclaimant, that Tazogo Busa was inherited by his son, Alayayi Busa. Gadak Buddha was inherited by his only son, Yamusa Busa. And Shagbawe had a son, Tenimu, who was in his father's house and never interacted with the Busa family. But the Busa farmland was bounded by farmlands belonging to the Arua family to the west, the Zandangbo Wolo family to the south, Dareko family to the east, and Serki Hausawa to the north. The Tazagoy is the same person as